Hello guys, how's it going? This is Daniel from Elite Furniture Moving, and today we're going over top 3 lead sources for 2025 for marketing. Facebook ads, number 3. Number 2 was buying leads from lead providers, and number 1 is going to be postcards. So why postcards we have as a most profitable marketing source? So let me tell you a little bit in the numbers. For the postcard, we have around 420,000 in the profit sales and around 48,000 in marketing spend, which equals to about 11% of marketing spend. Okay, so the only one thing with this postcard, so the postcard basically we send people, mailing people a postcard. I made one other video before about mailing the postcard. So it mails to the people's home. When people sell their house on the market with a realtor, they receive the postcard and says, hey, get our moving company. And there are 20 other moving companies actually doing that. So they're actually able to go and pick which moving company they like most. Okay, so usually we send thousands of postcards per month. As you know, the average postcard stamp is like 78 cents right now, so you can calculate how much money is that. It's about, for us, we did spend around 48,000 in marketing spend this year on the postcards, and again, it came up to around 11% marketing spend. Okay, so if you are interested in the postcard, how to do postcards, you can check the other video in which I tell you exactly how we do the postcard, what kind of picture we put in there, what kind of offers we put in there, and so on. The only one downside of this postcard that you cannot spend more than a certain number of dollars in one city. So let's say if you have only like a city like San Diego, where we work mainly, you have only a certain number of listings, like let's say 1,000 listings per month that go for sale, right? And then they have like maybe 500 listings that are good to send a card in there. So now from here, you basically have only a limited amount of cards that you send. You can send like 100 cards to each place because that's going to be counterproductive, right? You can send only a couple cards, like 2-3 cards usually. So only in one city, you can send a certain number of this postcards and you can get this certain number of business. So you cannot go crazy with it, like spend 10,000 a month or 20,000 a month in one city. Okay. The other thing we figured out that it's a lot of owner works, or it would require a bigger budget. So also, even if you cannot spend more than 5,000, let's say in the average city, maybe in a city like LA, you can get the whole LA and 10 million people, send them all postcards and whatnot, whoever sells their home. But in the average city, let's say of 1 million people, you also cannot send, it's going to be difficult if you send like cards only to your neighborhood, right? You want to actually send to all your territory, all the cards, because what ends up happening is those calls are pretty specific, and once the salesperson receives that call, they have to treat it specially, and then treat it as a larger sale compared to, or treat it as like a VIP customer, let's say, compared to the other calls that they may have from Quote Runner when the people tell you like go pick rocks or something. So this would be higher booking rate, and it would be really nicer sales in here. So that's why you cannot even spend what I was talking about, less than 5,000 per month on this one. So if someone's interested to start doing postcards, like I was able to do like whatever my postcards for moving company in particular, I think for this area it would be difficult to spend more than 5,000, but less than 5,000 would be difficult as well. So there's not that many companies who have that marketing budget, I want to say, of that much just for this marketing source, okay? Because this marketing source cannot be, the whole job, because they will go in certain dates in a certain period. Let's say if those leads come up in the beginning of the month, in the end of the month, you're gonna have nothing. So you just close the doors, right? So you need to have this as a part of your marketing budget. So your marketing budget has got to be way higher than that. So let's say it's gonna be 15, 20,000, or whichever is the case. And then from here, you can see that your sales has to be at least like 100,000 a month in order to have this postcard to work. Okay, so a lot of smaller companies would start working with these postcards, and we did this mistake in the beginning where we would put a little bit of money and we don't know what works and what not, and then we end up just losing money, and like we're like, maybe it's not the way to go. But eventually what ends up happening is I collected enough information. I just went to every person I know and asked them what's the number one marketing source, and they all tell me this, and I just kept doing it until it worked. So if it wasn't for that, I'd just stay away from it. But it worked out. So from here, just getting back to what we were talking about, a lot of owners work, or it's a big budget for the small companies. Okay, so as an owner, you have to only, if you're a smaller company, do all the cards yourself, get a list, merge them, print them, bring it to post office, so on. Or if you're a medium-sized company, let's say, now you have to go and get one of those mailing companies and pay them basically $1 per card or whatever they ask, $2 per card, in order to get this type of result that you get in. Okay. So another thing with this postcard, it's the most profitable jobs and least problematic customer. And I want to say this one little detail, one little upgrade that we're doing. I'm going to tell it in the end of this video to our postcards. They're actually bowling like that for 100,000 a year. So one more thing I want to say about this postcards, it's very expensive to test. So let's say when we started testing, we spent about 4 or 5 months on testing one of the designs or a couple of designs, let's say 2-3 designs, and each one of them was no good. And keep in mind, over that period, we were spending about 4,000 to 5,000 a month, and we were getting about 4,000 to 5,000 a month in sales. So we couldn't buy even new stuff to cover our basically expenses. And after that, we actually invested in a good design. I remember it was expensive design or whatever. We find him on one of those platforms, and the sales went up to like 20K a month easily after that. So that was something that I noticed, that if you get basic design from one of those generators, one of those address generators platform that offer you like just a basic design, whatever, it may not work because 20 other companies in your area send the same card with the same design, and it may be difficult for you to stand out if all of you have the same design. So you may just get very bad result. So expensive to test. That's why you need to do something different, or go the handwritten route, or go personalized, doing some personalized stuff. Or different thing that we were doing this year from the last year in this postcards actually was the magnets. So we start putting the magnets inside the card. That's actually once the people open the envelope, they can see the magnet, and they can stick the magnet to their fridge or whatever, and then there's like little coupons on the magnet. So that's a really nice thing that we started doing in regards to the postcards, as well as we continue doing handwritten postcards. Handwritten postcards were working really good. So also on top of this, basically how the postcard would work, you get one of the printed flyer where you print the address of the person who sold their house, let's say today, and it will go to this person immediately to the post office, which is it gets printed on your company printer or whatever, and gets brought to post office and be sent same day or next day or whatever. And there is one other thing that we noticed: we just sent 7 days from the listing day, because we noticed that a lot of listings would go under contract in around 7 days, 7 or 8 days. So we say, well, let's just not to go and send this when the listing go under contract, because we noticed that the people not always call when the listing goes under contract. So they usually like get listing under contract, the realtor tells them it's under contract. Now they go call the bunch of moving companies. Now the listing goes under contract next day. Now the next day the guy goes and prints them. Now the next day it goes to post office. Now the next day it's like comes up some time. And when the people receive actually those cards, they're no longer looking for movers many times. So we found out that the best case would be not to send the listings under contract, but to send 7 days from the day of listing, basically the card. And the other one would be, the third card would be a handwritten note, which is like a little handwritten flyer with some type of friendly picture of the family or whatnot, would go about every Friday for the previous week's listing. So you would have, let's say, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And on Friday, you want to post listings, get all these listings and make a list and put a handwritten notes to all of them and mail it, basically. So those are 3 listings, right? So on top of that, we can talk about the whole hour about just only this postcards and how it usually works, and good to know. But also there is some type of automations that you can set up where you can not only tell them people do something, but you can also skip trace their possible emails or their possible info from the brokers, right, who sell that information to you. And you could possibly, show to these people ads on any social media platforms. You can add this to the audience, like on Facebook or any other platforms, and you can try to show them the ad set that, like, you buy a house and you sell a house. This is the moving company to go with, okay? And there are also some other things that you would appreciate if they recommend you. You'd offer them some type of discount. You can all automate it through services like MailChimp or Make.com, and then you can do that with realtors, with people. Of course, you need to see if it's legal to send any messages without an agreement, without people prior agreeing to you sending them a message or whatever is the case. So check for that. But there are some things that you can do as well as just sending a lot of cards. I would say that made a big difference, as well as the list. There are like probably a million little details that you can talk of about these postcards. But the one thing that surprised me a lot about these postcards was that you need to have a lot of information about you online. So you need to have a lot of online reputation, if you will, right, to book many of those postcard jobs. Because what you would notice, if you were sending the postcards to one place, it would go very well. But now you send postcards to another location, let's say that you were planning to open or anything, where you don't have online presence, usually it would go terrible. And that's what happened to us. We didn't know what happened. Like, you sent to one location for many days, you send the same way you send the same way cards, and then you'd get like $20,000, $30,000 a month. For another location, you send the same cards with the same thing, the same way, the same post office. You go by a mailbox, it does receive, the mailbox receives your card, so that means they get sent. But for some reason, you're not getting calls. So it seems like a lot of people would be receiving the postcards and just checking online information about their company and then calling them from somewhere or calling them directly from postcards. So that's what I think happens right now, that a lot of companies a lot of people who would be selling their house, they do receive a postcard, and unless you stand out a lot from your competition, or you have some funny name, or you send them little, like whatever, magnet or stand out somehow, they basically would be checking your online reputation to make sure that it's a good, reputable company before they call. Because we notice, even though we didn't have that much online reputation in the area, people would not still be calling and would not be scanning QR codes that much for some reason. So that was the only one explanation that we come up with once we start sending those cards to second location. So again, very interesting lead source, not an easy one, but it was number one in our list today's or top 3 lead sources in 2025. Again, if you need any more information, we'll chat about details, let me know, but that's about it. With most profitable sources. Again, hope that was helpful for someone. Take care, bye.